Saturn retrograde in Pisces is one of the most significant astrological events of 2026. Saturn will begin its retrograde motion on July 27, 2026 and will remain retrograde until December 11, 2026. That gives us roughly 4.5 months of this intensified energy. It is essential to note that these interpretations are based on Sidereal or Vedic Astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference with the tropical zodiac. If you have been following the Saturn in Pisces transit since March 2025, you already have some idea of what themes this transit has been bringing into your life. The retrograde period is essentially Saturn returning to those same themes and turning up the volume on all of them. A retrograde planet is not moving backward. No planet ever moves backward. Retrograde is an optical illusion caused by the relative speed and position of the planet in relation to Earth. When Saturn retrogrades, it comes physically closer to Earth than it normally is. And when any planet comes closer to Earth, its energy reaches us more powerfully. Its results become louder, harder to ignore, and more difficult to avoid. So the first and most important thing to understand about Saturn retrograde in Pisces is that everything Saturn has been doing in Pisces since 2025 is now going to be felt more intensely by all of us. Saturn is a planet of delays, restrictions, hard work, perseverance, and discipline. It represents our duties and responsibilities in this world. It represents challenges, long-term effort, and the cold realities of life. At the same time, Saturn is also the only planet that has the potential to make you a legend in your field if you are willing to put in consistent, repetitive effort over a long period of time. Saturn does not hand you anything for free. But what you earn through Saturn is solid, lasting, and real. This is the nature of Saturn that we carry into the retrograde period. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. It carries the energy of imagination, spirituality, dreams, hidden talents, creativity, and the world beyond the visible. Pisces is a sign where people can easily fall into illusion about certain areas of life. Since Saturn entered Pisces in March 2025, one of the dominant themes has been the collision between Saturn's hard reality and Pisces' dream world. Many people have been going through a reality check in one or more areas of their life during this transit. During the retrograde from July 27 to December 11, 2026, that reality check becomes sharper and more unavoidable. Saturn retrograde has a very specific role to play. When Saturn retrogrades, it pulls our attention back to our duties and commitments. It asks us to look honestly at the work we have been doing, or the work we have been avoiding. This is a period of reflection, review, and course correction. If you have been genuinely putting in effort in your responsibilities, this retrograde will bring greater clarity and direction to your path. If you have been running away from something or procrastinating on important matters, Saturn retrograde will bring those things back to your attention, sometimes in unavoidable ways. Because this retrograde is happening in Pisces, the areas of reflection are deeply connected to spiritual matters, creative pursuits, hidden skills, and subconscious patterns. People who have been learning astrology, meditation, yoga, music, or any other form of creative or spiritual practice during this Saturn in Pisces transit will feel a renewed intensity during the retrograde. There can be breakthroughs in understanding after months of slow and difficult effort. There can also be a deeper questioning of one's belief system or spiritual path. Saturn retrograde in Pisces brings a very honest light to whatever we have been practicing or believing in. One of the practical effects of this retrograde is that it pushes people to complete pending work. Saturn in Pisces already carries the energy of closures, since Pisces is the last sign and holds the 12th house energy of finishing things. The retrograde accelerates this process. Long pending matters that were waiting for attention will now demand it. This is a period to sit down seriously, identify what is incomplete, and make an honest effort to close those chapters. Another important thing to watch during this retrograde is the area of imagination versus reality. Pisces keeps us dreaming. Saturn keeps asking us to face facts. During the retrograde, if you are still holding on to an unrealistic picture of a situation in your life, whether in relationships, career, finances, or any other area, that picture will be challenged more directly. This is not Saturn being cruel. This is Saturn doing what it does best, which is cutting through illusion and bringing structure to chaos. Saturn retrograde in Pisces from July 27 to December 11, 2026 is a period meant for deep reflection, sincere effort, and honest self-assessment. Work with it rather than against it, and it will prepare you well for the path ahead. Saturn represents your greatest challenges, fears, transformations, hard work, and focus. Wherever it transits, it inevitably brings changes and challenges tied to the matters of that house or sign. It creates circumstances that demand your attention, effort, and dedication to those areas. Ignoring or neglecting Saturn's influence is not an option. It requires accountability and persistence. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it is crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign offers insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you will emotionally respond to these changes. Take into account the position of your current Mahadasha Lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current dasha period. This transit may manifest differently for each individual, and how they navigate this transit will depend on their personal charts. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining Saturn's Ashtaka Varga score in Pisces. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit are contingent on Saturn's interaction with the planets in individual birth charts. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Saturn's dasha periods may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, Saturn is the lord of your 10th house of career, professional status, and public image, and your 11th house of income and financial gains. During the retrograde phase from July 27 to December 11, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your 12th house of spirituality, foreign lands, expenses, losses, and isolation. When Saturn retrogrades, it comes closer to Earth, and its energy becomes significantly more intense. You will feel the effects of the 12th house themes with much greater force during these months compared to the regular direct phase of this transit. Career is the most prominent area of concern during this retrograde. Saturn rules your 10th house, and while it moves backward, your professional life will come under serious scrutiny. Things that appeared to be moving forward at work may slow down significantly or stall completely. A project that seemed near completion may face unexpected setbacks. A promotion or professional recognition that you were anticipating may get delayed further. This is Saturn asking you to examine whether the work you are doing and the path you are on are genuinely right for you. Many Aries individuals will find themselves at a professional crossroads during this period. Those who were feeling stuck without real growth at work will now be pushed to either fight for their place or begin considering a different direction entirely. Authority and professional reputation will also come under Saturn's examination. If there were any unresolved issues in your professional conduct or tensions with senior figures at work, those situations will resurface during the retrograde and demand your attention. The best approach is to take direct responsibility for any professional mistakes and correct them systematically. Avoiding or deflecting professional problems during Saturn retrograde only makes them more difficult to handle later. Financial pressure will be another defining theme for Aries individuals during this period. Saturn rules your 11th house of income and gains, and with it retrograding in the 12th house of losses and expenses, the financial situation can become genuinely challenging. Income may slow down, payments from clients or employers may be delayed, and unexpected expenses may eat into savings. Medical costs, travel spending, or losses tied to old financial decisions may emerge during this period. This is not the time to take financial risks or make impulsive investments. Protecting existing resources and cutting unnecessary expenses should be the clear priority from July to December. Health needs serious attention during this retrograde. The 12th house represents hospitals, hidden illnesses, and long-term health issues. With Saturn retrograding here, health matters that were being neglected will now demand action. Saturn itself rules bones, teeth, and joints, so issues related to these areas may become more noticeable. Chronic conditions may flare up. Fatigue and stress-related symptoms are also likely given the overall pressure of this period. Do not delay medical attention. Addressing a health concern early is always far easier than handling a larger problem that was ignored for too long. Foreign land plans will face delays and complications. If you had plans to travel abroad for work, education, or relocation, those plans are likely to hit obstacles such as visa delays, logistical issues, or financial constraints. The retrograde period is not ideal for pushing foreign plans forward. Use this time to prepare documents, research options, and get everything organized so that execution becomes smoother after December when Saturn turns direct. Saturn's third aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your second house of wealth, family, and speech. This reinforces the financial pressure. It also signals that family conversations involving money or resources may become tense during this period. Be very careful about how you communicate with family members. Financial disagreements have a way of escalating quickly under Saturn retrograde energy, so stay calm and practical in all discussions involving money and family matters. Saturn's seventh aspect from Pisces falls on your sixth house of daily work, disputes, diseases, and obstacles. Work-related disputes and health challenges will need direct attention. Conflicts with colleagues or opponents may intensify during the retrograde. Handle all workplace disagreements with patience and strategy rather than reactivity. Health issues linked to daily routine, stress, or physical exhaustion may also arise and must be addressed promptly. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your 9th house of father, luck, higher education, and long-distance matters. Father's health or personal situation may need your support and attention during this period. Your general sense of fortune will feel reduced, which reinforces that this is a period for hard work and patience rather than relying on luck or favorable timing. Long-distance plans will face delays and education pursuits may progress more slowly than expected. There is one genuinely productive area during this Saturn retrograde for Aries, and that is in spirituality and inner work. The 12th house is the house of meditation, deep introspection, and spiritual connection. Saturn intensifying 12th house energy can push many Aries individuals toward meaningful inner practice during this period. The enforced slowing down that comes with the retrograde can become a genuine opportunity if you use it consciously for reflection, meditation, prayer, or any form of inner work that connects you with your deeper purpose. The overall guidance for Aries during this Saturn retrograde is straightforward. Do not rush or force outcomes in career or finance. Allow Saturn to show you clearly what needs to be corrected and what direction is genuinely right for you. Manage finances with extreme care. Address health matters without postponement. Handle professional and family conflicts with patience and maturity. Prepare foreign plans but do not push for execution during the retrograde phase. Use the introspective energy of this period to examine your true professional direction and personal values. When Saturn turns direct on December 11, 2026, the reflective work you have done during these months will give you a much clearer and stronger foundation from which to move forward. For Taurus, Saturn is the lord of your 9th house of higher learning, teachers, religion, philosophy, and luck, and your 10th house of career, professional status, and authority figures. During the retrograde period from July 27 to December 11, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your 11th house of income, financial gains, desires, elder siblings, social networks, and entrepreneurial ventures. Saturn retrograde in the 11th house means that the themes of income, gains, and what you receive from the world will face significant delays, restrictions, and the need for deep reassessment. Income and financial gains will be the dominant theme during this retrograde. The 11th house represents what flows to you in the form of earnings, rewards, and returns on your effort. Saturn retrograde here means that this flow will slow down considerably. What was coming in steadily may become inconsistent. Payments may be delayed. Professional compensation may not meet your expectations. Business revenue, if you are self-employed, may be lower than anticipated. This is a period that demands patience and persistence in financial matters. Saturn retrograde in the 11th house is very clear in its message: easy gains are not available right now. Whatever comes to you during this period will come only through sustained and diligent effort. Entrepreneurial activities will face direct challenges during this retrograde. If you are building your own business or side venture, expect obstacles in the form of client challenges, contract delays, cash flow difficulties, or strategic issues that need to be addressed. Some Taurus individuals in business may realize during this period that their business model or approach needs significant revision. Saturn retrograde is actually performing a service by exposing these weaknesses now, before they become more serious problems. Use the retrograde period to honestly assess your business strategy and make the corrections that are needed. Career matters will also be under pressure because Saturn rules your 10th house. Any professional decisions made earlier in 2026 may now need to be revisited. If you changed jobs or took on a new role, you may find yourself questioning that decision during the retrograde. Situations at work that seemed stable before may become more challenging. Authority figures at work may be more demanding or critical during this period. Stay focused, maintain professionalism, and resist the urge to make impulsive career moves during the retrograde. Elder siblings may become a source of concern during this period. The 11th house also represents elder siblings, and Saturn retrograding here can bring health issues, financial difficulties, or personal challenges to an elder sibling. You may be called upon to provide support or assistance. Be ready for that possibility and give it willingly. Social networks and professional connections will also go through a phase of review. Some Taurus individuals will discover during this retrograde that certain social or professional relationships were not as genuine or beneficial as they appeared. Saturn retrograde in the 11th house has a way of revealing the true nature of connections. Some associations may naturally fade during this period. While this can feel disappointing, it is ultimately Saturn clearing out what is not serving your genuine progress. Saturn's third aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your first house of self, health, and overall life path. This is a critical aspect. Your health must be a top priority during these months. Saturn aspecting the first house during retrograde can bring physical fatigue, low vitality, stress-related health challenges, and a general sense of heaviness. The life path itself may also come under serious reflection. You will find yourself questioning whether your current professional and personal direction is truly aligned with your deeper values and capabilities. This kind of questioning, while uncomfortable, is important and will lead to genuine clarity if approached honestly. Saturn's 7th aspect from Pisces falls on your 5th house of education, creativity, romance, and children. Romantic life may feel more cold and distant during this retrograde. If you are in a relationship, expect some emotional distance or reduced warmth in your connection. This is not necessarily a sign that the relationship is failing, but rather that Saturn is placing practical weight on the relationship that reduces its lighter, more joyful qualities. For parents, children's education or health concerns may need more attention during this period. Students will find that academic progress requires significantly more effort during the retrograde. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your 8th house of transformation, joint finances, sudden events, and occult sciences. Unexpected events are possible during this retrograde. Joint financial matters involving a spouse, business partner, or co-investor may face complications. Avoid making risky financial decisions involving shared resources. Hidden issues that were not visible before may come to light, particularly in financial or partnership contexts. For those interested in research, investigation, or occult sciences, Saturn's aspect on the 8th house can actually create very focused and productive study in those areas during this period. Higher learning pursuits may also move more slowly because Saturn rules your 9th house. Any academic courses, certifications, or spiritual studies you are involved in will progress at Saturn's pace rather than your preferred one. Do not abandon these pursuits. Consistent effort over the length of the retrograde will build genuine competency and mastery that faster periods do not always produce. The core message for Taurus during this Saturn retrograde is that income and professional gains require maximum effort and patience. There are no shortcuts available during this period. Do not abandon your professional or entrepreneurial goals because of temporary setbacks. Take care of your health and personal well-being as a daily priority. Support family members and social connections who genuinely matter to you. Be honest about which professional relationships are serving your growth and which are not. When Saturn turns direct in December 2026, the discipline and strategic rethinking you applied during the retrograde will begin to produce much more visible and rewarding results. For Gemini, Saturn is the lord of your 8th house of transformation, sudden events, occult sciences, joint finances, and in-laws, and your 9th house of higher learning, teachers, religion, philosophy, and luck. During the retrograde phase from July 27th to December 11th, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your 10th house of career, professional status, public image, and authority figures. Saturn retrograde in the 10th house is among the most impactful retrograde placements for any sign, because career and professional life come directly under Saturn's returning and intensified gaze during this period. Career challenges will be the defining feature of this retrograde for Gemini individuals. Professional progress will slow down considerably during these months. If you have been on an upward professional trajectory, that momentum may stall. Work pressure will increase significantly. You may find yourself dealing with more responsibility without proportionate recognition or compensation. Senior figures and authority at work may become more demanding and critical. Your professional performance will be under much greater scrutiny than during normal times, and any weaknesses or unresolved issues in your work will be very difficult to keep hidden during this period. For Gemini individuals in a job setup, the relationship with authority figures will be a recurring source of tension during the retrograde. Disagreements with bosses or senior leaders, situations where your capabilities are being questioned, or environments where you feel blocked from advancing are all possible scenarios. The temptation will be to react defensively or to force a confrontation. Saturn retrograde rewards patience and measured, strategic responses rather than impulsive reactions. Every interaction with authority during this period should be handled with care. For Gemini individuals who are in business, this retrograde is a period of reassessment and restructuring. Decisions about business direction, key partnerships, or significant financial moves that were made earlier in the year may now need to be revisited. Something in your professional strategy that appeared solid before may now be showing cracks. Do not resist this process of review. Identifying what needs to be corrected during the retrograde, even if it means accepting that a plan was not working, puts you in a much stronger position going forward. Career change is a real possibility during this retrograde period. Saturn rules your 8th house of transformation, and when it retrogrades in the 10th house of career, significant professional changes are often indicated. Some Gemini individuals who have been feeling fundamentally unfulfilled or stuck in their current professional role will experience a strong and persistent urge to make a major change. That urge is worth taking seriously, but the execution of any major career change should ideally wait until after Saturn turns direct in December. Use the retrograde period to plan, research, and build the foundation for the change rather than jumping impulsively. Father may face some personal challenges or health concerns during this retrograde. The 10th house is also associated with the father figure, and Saturn retrograding here can bring difficulty or stress to the father's situation. Gemini individuals should keep a close eye on their father's well-being during this period. Saturn's third aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your 12th house of expenses, foreign lands, spirituality, and isolation. Expenses will increase during this period, and financial outflow may be difficult to control. Medical costs, foreign travel expenses, or losses from previous financial decisions may all contribute to the financial strain. Some Gemini individuals may feel a pull toward withdrawal and solitude during this retrograde, which can actually be a healthy response to the intense career pressure. Giving yourself regular periods of quiet and introspection will help you manage the professional challenges more effectively. Saturn's 7th aspect from Pisces falls on your 4th house of home, mother, peace of mind, and property. Home and domestic life may become an additional source of stress during this period. Mother's health or domestic concerns may arise and need your attention. Peace of mind will be very difficult to maintain during this retrograde, given the career pressures you are dealing with. Create clear boundaries between your work life and home environment. Property-related matters, if any are in progress, may face delays or complications. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your 7th house of relationships, life partner, and business partnerships. Relationships may feel strained during this retrograde, largely because career demands are consuming most of your energy and attention. A spouse or partner may feel the emotional distance and respond with frustration or concern. It is important to communicate openly with your partner about the pressures you are facing rather than simply withdrawing. Business partnerships will also face scrutiny. Disagreements about professional direction or financial matters within a partnership are possible. Handle these with patience and clarity. Joint finances and hidden matters tied to your 8th house lordship may also surface during this period. Shared financial decisions, investments involving a partner, or inherited resources may face complications. Be extremely cautious about any financial decisions involving joint resources during the retrograde. Luck and fortune will feel subdued because Saturn rules your 9th house. Consistent work and methodical planning are the only tools that will reliably produce results during this period. Do not wait for favorable timing or lucky breaks to carry you through. The primary guidance for Gemini during this Saturn retrograde is to approach all career challenges with patience, strategic thinking, and professional integrity. Do not react impulsively to difficulties at work. Plan career changes thoughtfully rather than acting from frustration. Take care of your father and home. Manage finances conservatively. Protect your relationships by staying present and communicative even under pressure. The honest professional self-assessment you do during this retrograde will lay the foundation for more authentic and lasting success after December 2026. For Cancer, Saturn is the lord of your 7th house of marriage, life partner, and business partnerships, and your 8th house of transformation, sudden events, joint finances, occult sciences, and in-laws. During the retrograde period from July 27th to December 11th, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your 9th house of higher learning, teachers and gurus, religion, philosophy, luck, long-distance travel, and father. Saturn retrograde in the 9th house is a period of very deep questioning around beliefs, philosophy, and the authority figures who guide your life. The most significant theme for Cancer individuals during this retrograde will be a serious, and sometimes painful reassessment of belief systems, teachers, and philosophical frameworks. The 9th house represents the guiding beliefs through which you understand life, and Saturn retrograding here will shake those foundations in a meaningful way. Teachers or mentors who held great authority in your life may no longer seem as reliable or trustworthy as they once did. Inconsistencies in their guidance may become apparent. Or you may simply reach a point where you feel that you have genuinely outgrown what a particular teacher or belief system can offer you. This process is disorienting, but it is necessary for genuine spiritual and intellectual growth. Saturn retrograde in the 9th house is pushing you to move from borrowed belief toward authentic, self-discovered understanding. Higher education will be a demanding area during this retrograde. Students will find that academic progress requires significantly more effort and consistency. Examinations, assignments, or research work may come with unexpected complications. Results may feel disproportionate to the effort you are putting in. The key is to not give up. Saturn retrograde in the 9th house does slow down educational progress, but it also deepens the quality of learning for those who persist through the difficulty. The knowledge you build during this period, though it comes slowly, will be very solid and lasting. Father's health and personal situation may become a significant concern during this retrograde. The 9th house represents the father figure in Vedic astrology, and Saturn retrograding here can bring health challenges, financial strain, or personal difficulties to the father. Cancer individuals should monitor their father's condition carefully, and be prepared to offer support or care if needed. Do not overlook small warning signs during this period. Long-distance travel and foreign connections will face obstacles during this period. Planned trips abroad, visa processes, or relocation plans may hit delays and complications. Religious or spiritual pilgrimages that were planned may also get postponed. For Cancer individuals already living abroad, this period may bring some uncertainty about their foreign situation and whether they are in the right place. Luck and the overall sense of fortune will feel reduced during the retrograde. This is Saturn telling you clearly that only consistent, disciplined effort will produce results right now. Avoid relying on timing, external help, or fortunate circumstances to carry you through this period. Saturn's 3rd aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your 11th house of income, gains, social networks, and elder siblings. Income may slow down or face interruptions during this period. Financial gains will require considerably more effort than usual. Social and professional connections may also undergo review. Some connections that seemed solid may prove to be less genuine than expected. Elder siblings may face some personal or health-related challenges during this period as well. Saturn's 7th aspect from Pisces falls on your 3rd house of communication, effort, courage, siblings, and short travel. Your personal courage and ability to take decisive action may feel tested during this retrograde. Situations may arise where self-doubt creeps in and makes it difficult to act with confidence. Communication needs to be handled carefully during this period, and misunderstandings can arise if you are not clear and precise in how you express yourself. Siblings may be going through their own challenges and may need some support from you during these months. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your 6th house of daily work, health, disputes, obstacles, and opponents. Work-related conflicts and professional obstacles will need direct attention during this retrograde. Health concerns related to the digestive system, chronic fatigue, or stress-related conditions may also become more prominent. Opponents or rivals at work may become more active and create complications during this period. The best approach is to stay focused on your own work, maintain ethical conduct, and manage your health proactively. Since Saturn rules your 7th and 8th houses, relationship and transformation themes will also run through this retrograde in a broader way. A spouse or partner may feel the internal distance and uncertainty you are experiencing and may respond with concern or frustration. Be open and honest with your partner about the inner reflection and questioning you are going through rather than shutting them out. Joint financial matters and unexpected events are also possible during this period given Saturn's 8th house lordship. The overall period of this retrograde will be deeply inward for Cancer individuals. There will be a lot of reflecting, questioning, and reassessing of fundamental beliefs and life direction. This is genuinely uncomfortable but ultimately very necessary. The belief systems and philosophical frameworks that have stopped serving your growth will be stripped away during this retrograde, and by the time Saturn turns direct in December 2026, you will have a clearer and more authentic sense of what you truly believe and what direction you want to move in. Trust the process, take care of your father's health, manage your income carefully, and approach both professional and personal relationships with openness and honesty. For Leo, Saturn is the lord of your 6th house of daily work, disputes, diseases, service, and obstacles, and your 7th house of marriage, life partner, and business partnerships. During the retrograde period from July 27 to December 11, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your 8th house of transformation, sudden events, occult sciences, joint finances, in-laws, research, and hidden matters. Saturn retrograde in the 8th house is one of the most intense placements because the 8th house already represents depth, hidden dynamics, and sudden change, and Saturn's retrograde amplifies all of these qualities significantly. Transformation is the core theme for Leo individuals during this retrograde. The 8th house is the house of major life change and deep metamorphosis, and Saturn retrograding here means that transformations already in motion will accelerate or deepen during these months. Things that needed to change but were being resisted will now be forced to change. Areas of life that were built on unstable or incomplete foundations will begin to show their instability clearly. This is not a comfortable period, but it serves a very important purpose in the larger arc of your life. Career will be one of the areas where transformation is most visible. Saturn rules your 6th house of daily work, and with it retrograding in the 8th house of sudden change, your professional life may go through a significant disruption or transition during this period. A job change, a major shift in your work environment, a restructuring of your professional role, or even a sudden end to a current work situation are all possible during this retrograde. While these changes can feel stressful and destabilizing, it is important to understand that Saturn retrograde in the 8th house is clearing away professional situations that are no longer aligned with your growth so that something better aligned can emerge. Resist the tendency to panic and instead stay open to what comes next. Relationships will face significant strain during this retrograde. Saturn rules your 7th house of marriage and partnerships, and it is retrograding in the 8th house, which represents both deep relationship transformation and the in-law family. Ego conflicts with a spouse or partner are highly likely during this period. Misunderstandings, emotional distance, and disagreements about major life decisions or financial matters can create real tension. Some Leo individuals who are already in a fundamentally troubled relationship may reach a very difficult point during this retrograde. For those in genuinely committed relationships, this period requires working through some deep-rooted issues with patience and a willingness to understand each other's perspectives without defensiveness. In-law relationships may also become a source of complication during this retrograde. Tensions with in-laws, differences in values or expectations, or situations that involve the extended family on the partner's side may arise and need careful management. Joint finances and shared resources will need very careful attention. The 8th house rules money that flows through partnerships, inheritance, loans, and joint investments. Saturn retrograde here can bring complications in any of these areas. Avoid taking on new loans during the retrograde phase. Be extremely cautious about joint financial decisions. Any unresolved financial matters involving a partner or business associate are likely to surface and demand resolution during this period. For Leo individuals inclined toward research, investigation, occult sciences, astrology, or any field that involves digging deep below the surface, Saturn retrograde in the 8th house can be a period of very focused and productive study. The 8th house is the natural domain of depth and hidden knowledge, and Saturn's retrograde amplifies the capacity for serious, sustained inquiry in these areas. Saturn's third aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your 10th house of career, public image, and professional authority. Career matters face additional direct pressure from this aspect. Your professional reputation and public image are under Saturn's sharp scrutiny. Any professional shortcuts or ethical compromises made in the past may come to light during this period. Maintain the highest standards of integrity in all professional conduct. Authority figures will be observing your performance and conduct more closely than usual, and your actions during this retrograde will have lasting professional consequences. Saturn's 7th aspect from Pisces falls on your 2nd house of wealth, family, and speech. Financial matters will face direct pressure from this aspect. Family dynamics may become tense. Communication within the family, particularly around sensitive topics like money or personal choices, needs to be very thoughtful and measured. Harsh or impulsive words in family settings can create misunderstandings that take a long time to heal. Control your speech in family contexts and choose your words with care. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your 5th house of romance, creativity, children, and education. Romance will feel very cold and distant during this retrograde for Leo individuals. Relationships will lack the warmth and spontaneity that is characteristic of 5th house connections. This is not the time to begin a new romantic relationship. For those with children, concerns related to children's health or education may require more of your attention and involvement. Creative projects may slow down and feel blocked during the retrograde. Health is another important area to watch carefully. Saturn rules your 6th house, and its retrograde in the 8th house creates a combination that requires proactive health management. Chronic conditions, stress-induced illnesses, or surgical concerns may arise during this period. Do not postpone medical attention when your body signals a need for it. The guidance for Leo during this Saturn retrograde is to embrace the transformation that is underway rather than resisting it. Handle relationship challenges with patience and genuine maturity. Protect your professional integrity without exception. Manage joint finances conservatively. Take care of your physical health consistently. When Saturn turns direct in December 2026, many Leo individuals will find that they have emerged from this retrograde with a significantly altered but ultimately much stronger and more purposeful sense of direction in life. For Virgo, Saturn is the lord of your 5th house of education, romance, creativity, and children, and your 6th house of daily work, disputes, diseases, and service. During the retrograde period from July 27th to December 11th, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your 7th house of marriage, life partner, and business partnerships. Saturn retrograde in the 7th house places the full weight of Saturn's demanding energy directly on your most personal and professional relationships. The effects on partnership dynamics will be immediate and very tangible during these months. Relationships are the primary focus for Virgo individuals during this retrograde, and the experience is unlikely to be comfortable. Saturn retrograde in the 7th house brings out the most serious, demanding, and unforgiving qualities of Saturn within the relationship space. You will find that patience is being tested both in yourself and within your relationship. Arguments, standoffs, and periods of emotional distance with a partner are more likely than usual. Some Virgo individuals will face a period where their relationship reaches a critical juncture, where both partners must honestly assess how committed they truly are to making things work. For those already in a strained or fundamentally misaligned relationship, this retrograde may bring things to a decisive head. Saturn is not gentle about exposing truth. If there are long-standing unresolved issues or fundamental compatibility problems in a relationship, those will become impossible to avoid during this period. Some Virgo individuals may go through a separation or significant relationship transition during the retrograde. As painful as that is, Saturn retrograde in the 7th house is ultimately delivering a reality check, pushing you to see your relationship for what it actually is rather than what you hoped it would be. For those in solid and genuinely committed relationships, this retrograde will bring a period of serious work and effort. The relationship may lack its usual warmth and ease. Interactions with your partner may feel heavier and more burdened. Daily life within the partnership may feel more obligatory and less joyful. But if both partners approach this with maturity, honesty, and a genuine desire to work through the difficulty, the relationship will emerge from this retrograde period with a much stronger and more realistic foundation. Business partnerships will also face challenges during this retrograde. Saturn ruling your 6th house means that work and service matters intersect with partnership dynamics in a meaningful way. Disagreements with business partners, disputes over professional decisions or financial arrangements within a partnership, and delays in partnership-related contracts are all possible scenarios. Be very cautious about entering into any new business partnership agreements during the retrograde. Any major partnership commitments made during Saturn retrograde often need to be revisited after Saturn turns direct. Marriage-related decisions, such as the decision to get engaged or married, should ideally be deferred until after December when Saturn is direct. Saturn retrograde in the 7th house is not aligned with initiating long-term relationship commitments, because the energy of this period is about examining and reality-checking existing dynamics, not creating new ones. Saturn's third aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your 9th house of luck, higher learning, father, and long-distance travel. Luck will feel suppressed during this period. Results will come only through consistent, disciplined effort. Father's health or personal situation may need some attention during the retrograde. Academic pursuits or religious and philosophical studies will require more effort and patience. Long-distance travel plans may face delays or cancellations. Saturn's 7th aspect from Pisces falls on your 1st house of self, health, and personal identity. This is a very direct and impactful aspect. Saturn aspecting your 1st house during retrograde can bring physical heaviness, fatigue, reduced vitality, and stress-related health challenges. You may feel weighed down by responsibilities during this period. Your sense of self and personal identity may also feel somewhat suppressed, as the demands of partnerships and relationships consume most of your energy. Take deliberate care of your health during this retrograde. Prioritize rest, maintain a consistent daily routine, and do not push yourself beyond what your body can genuinely handle. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your 4th house of home, mother, peace of mind, and domestic environment. Home life may become a secondary source of stress during this retrograde, partly because of the relationship pressures you are dealing with. Mother's health or concerns involving the home and domestic setup may also arise. Peace of mind will be elusive during these months. Building a stable daily routine at home, creating quiet time for yourself, and engaging in some form of calming practice will help you manage this period with more stability. Since Saturn rules your 5th house, romance and creative matters are also affected in a broader sense. Romantic warmth will naturally be in the background during this period given how much energy the 7th house retrograde is consuming. For parents, children's concerns or educational matters may come up during this period and need attention. The core guidance for Virgo individuals during this Saturn retrograde is to approach all relationship challenges with honesty, genuine patience, and a willingness to understand your partner's perspective. Do not make permanent decisions about relationships during the retrograde. Give your partnerships the time and sustained effort they need to work through this difficult phase. Protect your own health deliberately. Take care of your mother and home environment. Defer major partnership commitments until Saturn is direct. By December 2026, the relationship clarity and personal strength you develop during this period will help you move forward with much more authentic and grounded expectations in all of your partnerships. For Libra, Saturn is the lord of your 4th house of home, mother, peace of mind, and property, and your 5th house of education, romance, creativity, and children. During the retrograde period from July 27th to December 11th, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your 6th house of daily work, disputes, diseases, obstacles, service, and opponents. Saturn retrograde in the 6th house amplifies all 6th house themes significantly, and this will be a period where work-related pressures, health challenges, and conflicts with others become the dominant features of daily life. Daily work life will be the most demanding area during this retrograde for Libra individuals. Saturn retrograde in the 6th house means that work pressure, workplace obstacles, and conflicts at work will increase considerably during these months. The volume of work may increase substantially. Deadlines and demands from senior figures may become more intense. The overall pace and stress level of daily professional life will be higher during this period than you are accustomed to. While Saturn direct in the 6th house already brings similar themes, the retrograde amplifies them because Saturn is closer to Earth, and its energy is more intense during this phase. Disputes and conflicts in the work environment will be a recurring theme. Saturn retrograde in the 6th house stirs up conflicts that may have been simmering beneath the surface for some time. If there are situations at work where you have felt treated unfairly or where tensions with a colleague or competitor have been building, those situations will become more active and visible during this period. Handle all workplace disputes carefully, methodically, and without reacting from emotion. Saturn rewards those who address conflicts with strategic patience rather than impulsive confrontation. Health will be a serious concern during this retrograde. The 6th house rules disease and illness, and Saturn retrograde here has a direct impact on physical health. Chronic conditions may resurface or intensify. Bone-related issues, dental problems, digestive complaints, or stress-induced illness are all possible during this period. Do not ignore health symptoms. Addressing a health matter early will always be far more effective and less disruptive than dealing with something that was allowed to progress through neglect. Preventive care and consistent health management routines are highly recommended throughout this retrograde. Legal matters may also arise during Saturn retrograde in the 6th house. If there are any pending legal disputes, situations involving opponents or adversaries, or matters that require formal proceedings, those will be active during this period. Since Saturn also rules your 4th house, property-related disputes or complications in real estate matters are also possible. Be very cautious about legal documents and real estate dealings during the retrograde. Romantic life and personal relationships will take a back seat during this period. Saturn rules your 5th house of romance, and with its energy concentrated in the 6th house during retrograde, the lighter and more joyful aspects of personal life will be secondary to the demands of work and health. Some Libra individuals and relationships may feel that the partnership lacks warmth and spontaneity during this period. Make a conscious effort to give at least some time and attention to your personal relationship, even when work demands are high. Home matters and mother's well-being will also need attention because Saturn rules your 4th house. Mother's health or some situation related to the home environment may arise during the retrograde. The work stress you are carrying will naturally affect your peace of mind at home as well. Try to create some separation between work and home so that your domestic environment does not become an extension of your professional stress. Saturn's 3rd aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your 8th house of sudden events, transformation, and joint finances. Sudden or unexpected events are possible during this retrograde. Joint financial matters, shared investments, or resources connected to a partner or business associate may face complications. Hidden matters may come to light. Avoid making major joint financial decisions during the retrograde period. Saturn's 7th aspect from Pisces falls on your 12th house of expenses, foreign lands, spirituality, and losses. Expenses will increase significantly during this retrograde, and managing finances carefully is important to avoid being caught off guard by financial strain. Losses from multiple fronts are possible. The 12th house also represents spiritual practice, and Saturn's aspect here can push you towards seeking genuine inner refuge during a demanding period. Regular meditation, prayer, or any form of contemplative practice can provide meaningful relief from the pressures of this retrograde. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your 3rd house of communication, efforts, courage, and siblings. Communication in professional settings will need extra care during this retrograde. Misunderstandings arising from unclear or poorly managed communication can easily escalate into larger conflicts. Think before you speak, especially in work-related contexts. Short-distance travel may face minor delays. Personal courage and willpower may feel tested, and there will be moments where you feel like giving up under the accumulated pressure. Saturn rewards those who persist without yielding to that temptation. The overall guidance for Libra during this Saturn retrograde is to manage health as the absolute top priority. Work hard but not at the expense of your physical well-being. Handle workplace conflicts with strategic patience and not with emotion. Manage finances carefully and avoid unnecessary spending. Attend to domestic concerns and mother's health. Use spiritual practice as a daily tool to maintain inner stability during a demanding and pressurized period. By the time Saturn turns direct in December 2026, the discipline and health-first approach you maintain during this retrograde will create a much stronger and more resilient foundation for the months ahead. For Scorpio, Saturn is the lord of your 3rd house of communication, courage, efforts, siblings, and short travel, and your 4th house of home, mother, peace of mind, and property. During the retrograde period from July 27th to December 11th, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your 5th house of education, romance, creativity, children, and intelligence. Saturn retrograde in the 5th house creates significant pressure in the areas of mind, heart, and creative expression, and the themes of education, romantic life, and children will all require careful attention during these months. Education will be one of the most demanding areas during this retrograde for Scorpio individuals. Whether you are a student yourself or have children who are studying, the academic dimension of life will require maximum effort and consistency during these months. Saturn retrograde in the 5th house does not make educational progress easy or quick. Results will come slowly and only through sustained, disciplined effort. For students in competitive academic environments, this is the most important period to apply yourself seriously and not to rely on natural talent or shortcuts. The effort you put in now, even though it feels difficult, will produce solid and lasting results in due time. Romance will take a very cold and distant quality during this retrograde. Saturn in the 5th house of romance naturally suppresses warmth and spontaneity in personal connections, and the retrograde amplifies this quality considerably. If you are currently in a relationship, it may feel less fulfilling and more duty-bound during these months. Emotional distance, ego conflicts, and a general sense of dissatisfaction in the romantic dimension of life are all possible. The relationship is essentially being put through a reality check by Saturn. What you see during this retrograde is a much more accurate picture of the relationship's true dynamics than what you experience during more comfortable times. Starting a new romantic relationship during this retrograde is not advisable. Relationships initiated under Saturn retrograde in the 5th house tend to have an on and off quality, and often bring more complications than genuine joy. If you are single, use this period to focus on self-development, academic growth, and creative pursuits rather than seeking romantic connection. Children's matters will also be a significant area of focus during this retrograde. If you have children, their educational progress, health concerns, or behavioral challenges may demand more of your involvement and attention than usual. Handle children's matters with firm but patient guidance. Do not be excessively critical or demanding, but maintain clear and consistent boundaries throughout this period. Creative projects and creative expression will also slow down significantly during Saturn retrograde in the 5th house. Creative blocks are common during this period. Inspiration may feel absent or very difficult to access. Do not force your creative output. Allow yourself the time to reflect, revisit, and work through the blocks at Saturn's pace. Saturn retrograde in the 5th house often ultimately produces deeper and more refined creative work than the faster output of more comfortable periods. Saturn's 3rd aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your 7th house of marriage, life partner, and business partnerships. Romantic and business partnerships are both under significant pressure during this retrograde. The aspect from the 5th house to the 7th house creates a direct link between your emotional state and the quality of your close relationships. Disagreements with a life partner or business partner are very likely during this period. Handle all relationship disputes with maturity, and avoid making permanent decisions based on the heightened tensions of the retrograde period. Saturn's 7th aspect from Pisces falls on your 11th house of income, gains, and social networks. Income may face delays or disruptions during this retrograde. Financial gains will require significantly more effort than usual. Social networks and professional connections may also go through a period of reassessment. Some connections that seemed important may prove to be less relevant or genuine, while other more meaningful ones may come to the foreground. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your 2nd house of wealth, family, and speech. Family dynamics may become tense during this retrograde, with financial concerns often at the center of those tensions. Be very careful about financial decisions, particularly those involving family members or shared family resources. Communication within the family needs to be thoughtful and measured. Avoid reactive or impulsive speech in family settings. Saturn also rules your 4th house of home and mother. Home matters and mother's well-being will be a parallel concern during this retrograde. Mother's health or domestic challenges may need your attention. Peace of mind at home may be disrupted by the overall pressure of this period. Try to maintain a grounded and stable home environment even when external pressures are high. The 3rd house that Saturn also rules represents your personal efforts and courage, and this is actually a reinforcing energy for Scorpio individuals during this retrograde. Saturn ruling an Upachaya house pushes you to apply extraordinary effort in the areas of education, creative development, and personal discipline. Your courage and willpower will be tested, but Scorpio individuals who push through the challenges will develop a level of inner strength and disciplined intelligence that will serve them very powerfully in the future. The central guidance for Scorpio during this Saturn retrograde is that this is a period of serious internal development. Apply maximum effort to education and creative work. Be patient and realistic in romantic matters. Give appropriate attention to children's needs. Manage family finances carefully. Handle relationship challenges with maturity, and do not make permanent decisions during the heat of the retrograde tensions. The disciplined effort and realistic approach you maintain from July to December 2026 will produce genuine and lasting results in your educational, creative, and personal development. For Sagittarius, Saturn is the lord of your 2nd house of wealth, family, speech, and accumulated resources, and your third house of communication, courage, siblings, short travel, and business development. During the retrograde period from July 27th to December 11th, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your fourth house of home, mother, property, peace of mind, vehicles, and domestic environment. Saturn retrograde in the fourth house places the full intensity of Saturn's energy directly on the most private and emotionally foundational areas of your life. Home and domestic life will be the defining focus for Sagittarius individuals during this retrograde. Whatever has been building in terms of domestic tension, unresolved family matters, or stress in the home environment will intensify noticeably. Saturn retrograde in the fourth house does not allow you to set aside home-related concerns or hope that they will resolve themselves. Things that have been delayed or avoided in the domestic sphere will now demand your direct engagement and resolution. Mother's health and well-being is the most immediate and personal concern during this retrograde. The fourth house is the primary house of the mother in Vedic astrology, and Saturn retrograding here brings direct pressure to the mother's situation. Health concerns, emotional challenges, or personal difficulties faced by the mother may become more prominent during these months. Sagittarius individuals should be especially attentive to their mother's condition and be fully prepared to take on caregiving or supportive responsibilities if needed. This is not a period to be too occupied with other things to give the mother the attention she may require. Peace of mind will be one of the most difficult things to maintain during this retrograde. Saturn brings heaviness and restriction wherever it goes, and when it retrogrades in the fourth house, that heaviness settles into the emotional core of your life. The home, which is supposed to be a place of comfort and restoration, may instead feel like a source of pressure and obligation during these months. Domestic conflicts, family disagreements, or simply the accumulating weight of household responsibilities can make genuine rest and relaxation very difficult to access. Property and real estate matters will face complications during this retrograde. If you were in the process of buying, selling, constructing, or renovating property, expect delays, bureaucratic obstacles, or financial complications to arise. Saturn retrograde is not a favorable time for completing major property transactions. If possible, defer final decisions or signings on property matters until after December when Saturn turns direct. Handle all existing property-related paperwork and legal matters with extra care and thoroughness during this period. Vehicle-related concerns are also possible during this retrograde. Vehicle repairs, unexpected automotive expenses, or the need to be more careful while driving are themes that can arise. Drive with extra caution and make sure your vehicle is properly maintained throughout the retrograde period. Some Sagittarius individuals may experience a significant change in their living situation during or following this retrograde. A desire to relocate to a different home or city may intensify, or circumstances may force a change in living arrangements. Saturn ruling your third house also adds themes of movement and travel to the retrograde period. Some of you may spend extended time away from your home base due to work or family obligations. Finances will also be an important concern because Saturn rules your second house of wealth. The combination of increased home-related expenses, possible medical costs related to the mother's health, and any property-related financial demands can create meaningful financial pressure during the retrograde. Be very conservative with spending. Avoid large purchases or financial commitments that are not absolutely necessary during these months. Saturn's third aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your sixth house of daily work, health, disputes, and obstacles. Professional challenges and daily work pressure will add to the overall burden of this period. Conflicts at work, health-related disruptions to your daily routine, or obstacles in professional pursuits will require your steady attention alongside the home and family concerns you are dealing with. Maintain a consistent health routine and do not allow work stress and home pressure to feed each other in a cycle that leaves you physically depleted. Saturn's seventh aspect from Pisces falls on your 10th house of career, status, and authority figures. Career matters will feel the weight of Saturn's retrograde energy through this aspect. Professional progress may slow down. Authority figures may be more demanding or critical. Your professional standing and public image may need active maintenance. Stay disciplined and focused at work even while managing significant personal life pressures. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your first house of self, health, and life path. This is a very significant aspect for Sagittarius individuals. Saturn directly aspecting your first house during retrograde can bring physical health challenges, reduced energy and vitality, and deep questioning of your overall life direction. Pay close attention to your own health, and do not sacrifice it for the sake of meeting all other responsibilities. Your life path itself may come under serious reflection during this period, and some Sagittarius individuals will begin to question whether their current direction in life is truly aligned with their deeper values and purpose. The guidance for Sagittarius individuals during this Saturn retrograde is to place home and family at the center of your attention. Take care of your mother with dedication. Address domestic matters with patience and sustained effort. Be very conservative with money. Handle career challenges with professionalism without allowing work stress to destabilize the home environment further. This is a period of grounding, of attending to roots and foundations. When Saturn turns direct in December 2026, you will be in a position to move forward from a much more settled and secure personal foundation than you currently have. For Capricorn, Saturn is the lord of your first house of self, life path, health, and personal identity, and your second house of wealth, family, speech, and accumulated resources. Saturn is your sign lord, which makes it the most significant planet in your entire chart. During the retrograde period from July 27 to December 11, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your third house of communication, courage, efforts, siblings, short travel, hobbies, and business development. When the first house lord retrogrades in any house, the effect is particularly personal and significant for the native. Efforts and personal courage will be the central themes for Capricorn individuals during this retrograde. The third house represents the energy and initiative you put into the world through your daily actions, and Saturn retrograde here means that energy will feel blocked, slowed, or redirected during these months. Projects and initiatives that seem to be moving forward may encounter unexpected resistance. Plans that appeared straightforward will face complications. Momentum that you had built in the earlier part of 2026 may stall noticeably during the retrograde. Your personal willpower and motivation may fluctuate significantly during this period. This is somewhat unusual for Capricorn individuals who are typically among the most disciplined and persistent of all signs, and it can feel disorienting to experience reduced motivation. Saturn retrograde as the first house lord is turning its intense energy inward, creating a period of deep self-examination rather than outward action. Understand this as a temporary phase of reassessment rather than a permanent reduction in capability. The third house is also a house of independent business and entrepreneurial development. If you are building your own business or trying to establish a new professional niche through self-effort, the retrograde will slow things down and expose areas that need to be reconsidered. Client communications may not go as smoothly as expected. Proposals or plans may face rejection or delay. Contracts that seemed close to completion may stall. Do not abandon your goals, but be ready to revise your approach based on what Saturn retrograde is revealing to you. Communication is another significant area because the third house governs how you express yourself and interact with your immediate environment. Saturn retrograde here can make communication more prone to misunderstanding and difficulty. In professional settings, what you intend to convey may not land the way you planned. Be very deliberate about clarity in all written and verbal communications. Avoid aggressive or overly assertive communication styles during this period, as they will tend to backfire. Your relationship with siblings, especially younger siblings, may also require more attention. A sibling may face health issues, emotional strain, practical problems, or financial difficulty, and you may need to step in with support or responsibility. This does not always indicate conflict. Sometimes it simply means duty and involvement increase. Saturn tends to make you carry what needs to be carried, and in this case that may involve family obligations connected to siblings. Short-distance travel can become more tedious during this period. Delays, disruptions, or minor logistical problems may arise more often than usual. Care is needed while driving, commuting, or using vehicles. Saturn retrograde in the third house is a good time to be extra cautious on the road and not rush through travel plans. Small mistakes can become inconvenient, so it is better to move slowly and deliberately. Financial matters will need careful management because Saturn rules your second house. Income and accumulated wealth may face pressure during this retrograde, and expenses may increase beyond expectations. Family financial matters may also need attention. Be very conservative in your financial decisions and avoid making large commitments during the retrograde phase. Saturn's third aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your fifth house of education, romance, creativity, and children. Creative hobbies and interests that you have been developing may slow down during this period. Educational pursuits will require considerably more effort. Romantic life may feel less vibrant and more subdued. Children's matters, if applicable, may require additional attention and involvement from you during these months. Saturn's 7th aspect from Pisces falls on your 9th house of luck, father, higher learning, religion, and long-distance travel. The general sense of fortune will feel very subdued during the retrograde. This strongly reinforces that only hard work and consistent persistence will produce results right now. Father's health or personal situation may become a concern that needs your attention. Long-distance travel plans may face delays or complications. Academic or spiritual studies that you are involved in will progress slowly and require extra dedication and patience. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your 12th house of expenses, foreign lands, spirituality, and losses. Expenses are likely to increase during this retrograde, and some financial losses from unexpected sources are possible. Foreign land matters may face complications. The 12th house is also the house of deep inner practice, and Saturn's aspect here can genuinely push you toward meaningful spiritual reflection during this period. Using the quieter moments of this retrograde for meditation or contemplative practice can provide real stability amid the other pressures. The core guidance for Capricorn individuals during this Saturn retrograde is to trust the process of deep self-examination and course correction that Saturn is putting you through as the Lord of your first house. Your initiatives and efforts may feel blocked, but this is a period of internal strengthening and refinement rather than outward achievement. Be patient with your own pace. Manage finances with discipline. Support siblings when needed. Communicate with care and precision. Take care of your own health as a primary responsibility and not an afterthought. When Saturn turns direct in December 2026, the inner clarity and honest self-assessment you have done during the retrograde will make your subsequent efforts considerably more effective and authentically directed. For Aquarius, Saturn is the Lord of your 12th house of foreign lands, spirituality, expenses, and isolation, and your first house of self, life path, health, and personal identity. During the retrograde period from July 27th to December 11th, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your second house of wealth, family, speech, food habits, and accumulated assets. Saturn retrograde in the second house places a very direct and practically felt kind of pressure on your finances and family life during these months, and the effects will be immediately noticeable. Finances will be the most pressing and immediate concern for Aquarius individuals during this retrograde. Saturn ruling both your 12th house of losses and expenses and your first house of self, and retrograding in your second house of wealth, creates a combination that demands very careful and disciplined financial management. Income may not be sufficient to cover all financial obligations and daily expenses. Unexpected costs may arise from multiple directions simultaneously. The 12th house energy that Saturn carries with it into the second house suggests that financial outflow may be more significant than anticipated during these months. This is a period to be extremely conservative with spending, to avoid taking on any new loans or financial liabilities, and to focus entirely on stabilizing and protecting your financial situation. Some Aquarius individuals may experience instability in their primary source of income during this retrograde. A job situation may become uncertain. Business revenue may decline. Whatever the specific circumstances, the financial pressure will be real and immediate. Do not allow finances to deteriorate through inaction or avoidance. Budget carefully, track your expenses, and make decisions based on what you can genuinely afford right now rather than on optimistic projections about future income. Family matters will be an equally significant theme during this retrograde. The second house represents not just wealth but also the immediate family unit and family dynamics. Saturn retrograde here can bring family-related tension, conflicts within the household, or situations where you are required to step up and take direct responsibility for family concerns. Health challenges within the family, financial disagreements among family members, or long-standing family tensions that were never properly resolved may all become more active and demanding during this period. Handle family situations with steady patience and a genuine commitment to finding practical, workable solutions. Your own health must also receive careful attention because Saturn rules your first house. Physical vitality may feel reduced during the retrograde. Fatigue, stress-induced symptoms, or chronic conditions that were previously manageable may become more challenging to control. Do not neglect your physical health during this period, even when financial and family pressures are pulling your attention in multiple directions. Your health is the foundation that everything else depends on. Speech and communication are important second house themes that Saturn retrograde will directly influence. Words carry more weight than usual during this period, but they also have more potential to cause unintended offense or serious misunderstanding. Think carefully before speaking in family contexts or in any situation involving financial matters. Avoid reactive communication. Choose your words with deliberate care, especially in emotionally charged conversations. The life path themes tied to Saturn's first house lordship will also be present during this retrograde. Your personal sense of direction and identity may feel somewhat suppressed or constrained during these months, as practical financial and family responsibilities demand so much of your attention. This is Saturn's nature. Practical responsibilities must take priority over personal aspirations for the duration of the retrograde. Trust that the responsible approach you take during this period will create a stronger foundation for pursuing personal goals more freely after December. Saturn's third aspect from Pisces during the retrograde falls on your fourth house of home, mother, and peace of mind. Home life and domestic matters will add additional weight to the overall burden of this period. Mother's health or concerns related to the home may arise. Peace of mind will genuinely be very difficult to sustain with financial and family pressures coming simultaneously from multiple directions. Create small, deliberate pockets of calm and quiet in your daily routine where you can breathe, reflect, and restore some of your energy. Saturn's seventh aspect from Pisces falls on your eighth house of sudden events, transformation, and joint finances. Unexpected events are possible during this retrograde, and some of them may have direct financial implications. Joint financial matters involving a spouse, business partner, or family member may face complications during this period. Be extremely cautious about shared financial decisions and avoid making any major joint financial commitments during the retrograde phase. Saturn's 10th aspect from Pisces falls on your 11th house of income, gains, desires, and social networks. Income and financial gains face additional pressure from this aspect. Professional and social connections may prove to be less helpful or less reliable during this period. Some connections may reveal themselves to be disappointing in terms of actual support offered. Focus on genuine, proven relationships and be cautious about placing too much trust in newer connections during the retrograde. The spiritual dimension tied to Saturn's 12th house lordship can genuinely be a source of strength and stability for Aquarius individuals during this challenging retrograde. Regular meditation, prayer, or any grounded spiritual practice will help you navigate the financial and family pressures of these months with significantly more inner steadiness. The guidance for Aquarius during this Saturn retrograde is clear and practical. Protect your finances as the first priority. Manage family matters with patient responsibility. Avoid impulsive financial decisions of any kind. Attend to your health as a non-negotiable daily commitment. Use spiritual practice as a consistent daily anchor. When Saturn turns direct in December 2026, the financial and family stability you work hard to maintain during the retrograde will provide a much firmer and more secure foundation for everything that comes next. For Pisces, Saturn is the lord of your 11th house of income, gains, desires, and social networks, and your 12th house of foreign lands, spirituality, expenses, and isolation. During the retrograde period from July 27th to December 11th, 2026, Saturn will be moving backward through your first house of self, life path, health, and personal identity. When Saturn retrogrades in the first house itself, this is one of the most personally significant and deeply felt placements of any Saturn retrograde. It is not influencing one area of life in isolation. It is directing its most intense energy at your entire sense of self, purpose, and direction in life. Life path is the central and most urgent theme for Pisces individuals during this retrograde. Saturn retrograde in the first house pushes you into one of the most honest and searching examinations of your own life that you will ever experience. The questions that will dominate your inner world during these months will not be small or superficial ones. They will be fundamental questions about who you truly are, what you are genuinely doing with your life, whether your current choices and path reflect your authentic values and capabilities, and what kind of future you actually want to build. This is not a comfortable period of gentle reflection. Saturn retrograde demands depth, unflinching honesty, and a genuine willingness to see yourself and your choices clearly without excuses or rationalization. For many Pisces individuals, this retrograde will bring a very clear realization about whether their current life path is genuinely right for them. If there have been persistent feelings of dissatisfaction, a nagging sense of unfulfillment, or a quiet but insistent awareness that something fundamental is missing from your life, those feelings will intensify significantly during the retrograde and become impossible to ignore. This is Saturn's way of making necessary change unavoidable. Some Pisces individuals will make significant and life-altering decisions during this period, including decisions about career direction, relationship choices, place of residence, or fundamental lifestyle changes. These decisions, even if they are difficult, are pointing you toward a more authentic path. Health must be a top priority during this retrograde. Saturn retrograde in the first house has a direct impact on the physical body and overall vitality. Fatigue, reduced energy levels, bone and joint issues, weight fluctuations, and stress-related illness are all possible during this period. The first house is the house of the physical body itself, and with Saturn's restrictive and demanding energy retrograding here, your physical reserves will be lower than usual. Do not push yourself beyond what your body can genuinely handle. Prioritize rest. Maintain a consistent and simple daily health routine. Eat regularly and sleep at consistent times. Any existing health conditions that were previously under control may need closer monitoring during this retrograde. Self-confidence and personal presence may feel significantly reduced during these months. Asserting yourself, making decisions with conviction, and presenting yourself in the world with the authority and clarity you would normally have may all feel more difficult than usual. This is temporary. Saturn retrograde in the first house is directing energy inward and asking you to be more contemplative and less outwardly active for this period. Use the quieter quality of this time for genuine inner work rather than pushing to maintain an external persona. Relationships will experience pressure because Saturn's 7th aspect from Pisces falls directly on your 7th house of marriage and partnerships. A spouse or partner may feel the emotional distance created by your introspective state. Relationship dynamics may become more serious, demanding, or emotionally restrained. Ego clashes and misunderstandings are possible. The purpose of Saturn's influence is to test the strength, maturity, and authenticity of relationships. Strong partnerships can emerge more stable through patience and honest communication, while unstable relationships may reach a turning point. Financially, this period will feel constraining because Saturn rules your 11th house of income and your 12th house of expenses. Income may slow down or face disruptions. Financial gains you were expecting may be delayed. Expenses may increase simultaneously. The combination of reduced income and increased spending creates a financial picture that requires very disciplined management. Avoid unnecessary expenditures and do not take on new financial liabilities during the retrograde. Saturn's 3rd aspect falls on your 3rd house of efforts, communication, courage, and initiative. As a result, progress may feel slower than expected. Personal projects can face delays, and communication may not always produce the desired results. Your courage and determination will need conscious cultivation. Avoid comparing your progress to others and focus on consistent effort. Saturn's 7th aspect again reinforces pressure on personal and professional partnerships. Business relationships require careful handling, and major partnership agreements should ideally be postponed until Saturn turns direct. Patience, clarity, and realistic expectations are essential. Saturn's 10th aspect falls on your 10th house of career and professional life, bringing professional matters under close scrutiny. Career growth may feel slower, authority figures may become more demanding, and responsibilities may increase. Many Pisces individuals will reassess their professional direction. Some may realize that their current career no longer reflects their true abilities or values and begin planning meaningful changes. The 11th house Saturn lordship also means that social networks and professional connections may not deliver the support or results you expect from them during the retrograde. Be selective about where you invest your social energy and whom you trust during this period. The core message of this retrograde is profound inner transformation. Saturn is asking you to examine your identity, choices, and life direction with complete honesty. While the process may feel challenging, it is preparing you for long-term growth. Prioritize health, manage finances carefully, handle relationships with maturity, and remain open to necessary changes. When Saturn turns direct on December 11th, 2026, the self-awareness and clarity gained during these months can help you move forward with a stronger sense of purpose, authenticity, and direction. As we conclude this episode, please keep in mind that these insights are based on the Sidereal zodiac system used in Vedic astrology, which differs from the tropical system by approximately 24 degrees. These are general predictions, The real impact depends on your dasha cycles and your individual birth chart. For a personalized analysis or consultation, feel free to reach out. If you found this video valuable, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And now, you can also hype this video to boost it within the community. Your support helps this knowledge reach more people who may benefit. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, keep learning, and keep shining bright.